Happy Sunday, everybody. It is hashtag Showcase Sunday. And our Showcase Sundays are brought to help the hospitality and tourism industry to sustain their businesses, but to develop and grow, but also to look after everybody who is in the hospitality industry. And this week, we have got the amazing Caroline Pett, who is a specialist in anti-anxiety. She also does hypnosis and lots of other things, but I'll let Caroline tell you all about it. So Caroline, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hi everyone, I'm Caroline. I'm an anti-anxiety specialist, as Alison has told you. I live and work just outside of Carlisle, so in the lovely Eden Valley, which is just beautiful, especially when the sun's shining. And I work online as well as in person. I've got a beautiful room in the village of Armathwaite. I work primarily with people that are dealing with anxiety. And as Alison said, I do that through hypnosis, but also through life coaching and emotional freedom technique. I also use energy techniques such as Reiki. And I have all sorts of different tools in my box. I also work with people that are struggling with alcohol addiction or over drinking, and to help them bring that down safely. And that's been a big problem at the moment. So a lot of work going on there too.
Yeah, and what would you say anxiety was, Caroline? Because a lot of people are saying, well, we're not sure whether anxiety is something they would label themselves with, or what would you explain, to our audience?
So I try not to describe anxiety as a disorder. Anxiety is not a disorder, it's a natural reaction to a situation that you're in. And we actually really need anxiety in our lives. If we didn't have those feelings of something's not right here, then we would walk around in a bliss. And back in the day, we would have been eaten by a saber-toothed tiger. So, we need to have that anxiety. It keeps us safe. But when anxiety goes overboard or is triggered by something that isn't real, in the sense that it's triggered by thoughts, then it starts causing problems. But there are things that we can do to control it.
Yeah, it's very true, and I hear that a lot as well. Back in the day, saber-toothed tiger was our fear and anxiety specialists, basically, to ensure get eaten alive and killed. But nowadays, and I think with the pressure of COVID, with the pressure of everything that's going on at the moment, I'm seeing the hospitality industry in such a crisis right now. It's been in a crisis for a bit, but now it's got critical, staffing shortages. We have pressure from customer expectations far exceeding what they've ever been, and the patience is not there. There's no hashtag be kind anymore, and it's a real problem out there, and the teams are really working full on. There's business closing because they're trying to keep the teams. There's businesses giving half services. It's a nightmare out there, and there's so many scenarios, and I'm seeing it daily, a new different scenario arising, and that's why I wanted you on today, because I wanted to see if there's anything that we could do to be able to help our industry, or everybody in our industry, to be able to cope with those pressures right now, and so on. But what makes you unique and different to anybody else that would be giving these services, Caroline?
Well, the thing that's unique about me is the range of services that I offer. So there's I've mentioned a few: hypnosis, emotional freedom technique, coaching, NLP. The list goes on, and I don't just throw the same things at everybody. So you go to some hypnotists, and they just work off scripts and things like that. I don't do that. I know that anxiety is individual, so every person experiences anxiety in a different way. So the solution has to be individual as well. There's not an off-the-shelf solution. So I work with the individual or the business to find the solution that works for them, and it's going to be different to the next person.
Yeah, and somebody could have a range of issues that they're currently battling with. Yeah, because if they've got any kind of drink problem, now a drink problem might be a glass of wine every night, you know,
that might be a problem for some people, but for other people that they wouldn't consider that to be a problem. And especially when it comes to the alcohol stuff, it's understand that alcohol, if you've got an alcohol addiction, which is different to drinking one glass of wine a night for most people, it can be really dangerous just to stop. So it's having that understanding about the medical side of things as well. I also have a good working understanding of things like Alcoholics Anonymous, the 12 steps, adult children of alcoholics and things like that. So in terms of the alcohol addiction side of things, I've got a much deeper understanding than a lot of more generalists. But yes, there is a lot going on there with the alcohol things at the moment.
Yeah, because I you know, after speaking to you originally, I had a real thought process that when I was a hotel general manager, the praise basically, if we'd had a really busy night, was get everybody a drink, guys, and they'd all get, you know, they'd all get a drink. And I never thought for one moment I potentially could have been, you know, trying to stop someone to give up drink, or it never even entered my mind, or helping them to be able to sustain, you know, a healthy way forward. And I think it's only now that I've done a lot of personal development that has made me think differently, and given me the helicopter view, because I was in it, not out of it at the time. And you think you're doing the right thing, but in all essence, potentially it isn't. I mean, it's a great praise, but you know, potentially if everybody's having a beer and one says, oh, I'll have a soft drink, you know, it's that peer, you know, issue there, isn't it?
It can be, and I think there is generally a bigger understanding now. I feel like there wouldn't be as much of a peer pressure thing as there probably was even 5-10 years ago. However, you know, somebody may not feel comfortable to say, oh, if you know, if they've always had a beer, oh, I'll just have a soft drink tonight, or they may feel like they need to make an excuse, oh, I can't, I'm driving. And if somebody's already struggling, then that, you know, that can give them a bit of an area where they have to resist further, which can be difficult. However, offering somebody a drink for a job well done, if they don't already have a problem, it's just a lovely thing to do, and people will be really grateful. So it's just being aware that it could be a trigger for somebody.
Yeah, because we know there's, you know, there's issues in all. It's a coping mechanism for, you know, the pressures that the industry is going under, you know, and having people, you know, the amount of people that are being abused right now. I mean, we saw it in the NHS where posters were going up, do not, you know, abuse our team, we're here to help. And I'm almost feeling that's the same for the hospitality industry, because we're there to serve guests, we're not there to be abused. And the amount of issues that are coming up at the moment and no patience is ridiculous. And you know, what do you think you can do to help the hospitality industry, but also the business owners, managers and teams right now? What would you say are the things that you could help with at the present moment?
The thing that I generally help with is giving you some space to do stuff for yourself. And that's really what you need at the moment. I know it feels like it's got to be head down, nose to the grindstone, 24-hour work right now. But actually in a very short amount of time, you're going to do yourself some real damage and burn out if that's how you do things. So it's really important that you actually stop and you take a break, and you turn your mind off from work and you take yourself away from the building, and you actually do something different just for a little while even, and you'll find that when you get back to work, you'll work much better, you'll be more effective, and some of those solutions that you've been struggling to get hold of will come to you. You just need to take that step back sometimes in order for that to happen.
Yeah, you see, it's a very good point. That I know last year when I was going through lockdown 1, trying to manage a business, trying to help the hospitality industry for the whole of lockdown, trying to save the businesses, as well as school homeschooling, which was not my friend. I'm very vocal about that. And then I was trying to launch it, develop a new business to launch. I found I was having, a glass of wine at night as soon as I could, but then paddleboard and started to go out on the lake. My goodness, that was a game changer for me. Now I'm wild water swimming. And crazy enough, I've now started to run, which is not my normal comfort zone. But wild water swimming has been my savior as well. Anything to do with water, I love. But it's interesting that you say, because I've been walking into businesses or been getting phone calls from businesses who they are literally working from 7 in the morning till 11 at night without much break, with all this pressure. It's not sustainable. And I get that the short staff, but they're going to lose. I'm watching really great people coming out of the industry because it's too much. And gone are the days where we all just did it. I mean, I used to do 90 hours a week thinking it was normal. I never knew there was a 40-hour week ever. I was shocked when I first found out about that, but it's interesting. It's not okay to expect people to do that, and we've got to change as an industry to help and support our teams to be able to cope with the pressures and take that time out. So can I ask you, Caroline, what are your 5 top tips that you would give to everybody at the moment?
Well, the first one is kind of what I've just said. So when it comes to stress and anxiety, take a break, step back, rest, and your mind will come up with solutions. And on a bit of a side note to that, just be aware that stress and anxiety is a natural reaction and you're in an unusual situation. So you should feel stress and anxiety, and you're not mentally ill and you're not going mad. But do give yourself time to take that break, and it will help you feel better. When it comes to over drinking, it is easier to follow rules 100% of the time than 98% of the time. If you're only following rules 98% of the time, you're always wondering, is this that 2%? So take a break from drinking for a set amount of time, or only drink on certain days, but set yourself some guidelines and stick to them. So don't start giving yourself, oh yeah, but it was sunny today, so I thought I'd have a G&T. If it's one of your non-drinking days. If it's a non-drinking day, it's a non-drinking day, and it is non-negotiable. So
really, I was just going to say, really, that's a non-negotiable, and that's the key, isn't it? And setting yourself smarter objectives, which is specific, measurable, achievable, realistic, time-bound, and then evaluate and review it and see how you're getting on. But those smarter objectives are the things that gives you the goals and objectives to win, to be successful.
Exactly. And you often only think about the SMART objectives when it comes to business things or coaching people to improve, but actually it works for personal goals and stuff as well. So if you make a plan and stick to it. Also planning other activities as well. So if you know that you start getting a bit itchy for a drink at 5 p.m, plan to do something else, whether that's go for a walk with a friend, or you're going to watch a particular movie and you're going to get snacks for it, whatever, but plan something else to do at that time. Now, sleeping well, this is number 3. underpins everything. If you don't sleep well, everything else is going to feel much, much harder. And when it comes to sleeping well, a good routine is key. So your body gets to know when it's time to go to sleep. So you have to treat yourself a bit like you would treat a child and have a set bedtime. Now, this also means it works better if you also have a set getting up time, which means no lie-in on a Saturday and a Sunday, because that breaks your routine. By all means, get up, get a cup of tea, head back to bed at the weekend, or in hospitality, probably not at the weekend, but whatever your rest days are. But yes, good routine is key when it comes to sleeping well. And also so number 4, in order to help you sleep well, and for your stress and anxiety levels throughout the day, is to allow rest periods throughout the day where your mind is doing absolutely nothing. So there's a part of your mind called the default mode network, and it's a bit like standby mode. And that only kicks on if you're not doing anything. So that means put your phone down, stop scrolling through Facebook, turn the TV off, don't have the radio on, don't read, sit and do nothing, just daydream and allow your mind to wander over a cup of tea or a glass of juice or a biscuit, whatever. Just sit outside for 2 minutes and get your face in the sun. But that default mode network starts sorting out your experiences from the day and tagging them for processing while you're asleep. And by allowing yourself time to do that during the day, you don't get that bit where your head hits the pillow and your mind just goes because it's not had time to do it throughout the day. So you will fall asleep more easily if you have rests during the day, even a little snooze during the day. And then my final and probably the biggest top tip is ask for support. Whether that is for somebody with dealing, like myself, dealing with anxiety, or whether it is for a specific situation that you've got, so something that maybe Alison could help you with, or financial advice or business advice, or if there is a specific problem that you're struggling with, get support with it, because you can try to solve things on your own, but actually there's somebody out there who either knows the answer or knows who will know the answer, and you will kick yourself when you realize that the solution is really, really simple, but you would have never come to it on your own. So asking for help really is sometimes the hardest thing to do, but really makes such a big difference.
I found that myself, to be fair. I always struggled to ask for help. Now it's my best friend. It really is. And it's funny, all your top tips are exactly what I've had to put in place for my training now for the Great North Swim that I'm doing doing later today at 12 o'clock. So if anybody is out and about, come and watch me at Brockall. I'm going in at 12. I'm doing a mile. But also for a local charity, Care Support South Lakes, I am doing the Great North Run, and that's way out of my comfort zone. It's something that I'm not natural at, to be fair, but I started training. Funnily enough, it's naturally happened for me that I've started to have to take time out. Now I'm big on TFM, and I'm well known for saying it's something that I've always done throughout the industry, because I knew time for me was that's what TFM is, time for me meeting. I would put in my diary, and now I teach that for business owners, managers and teams, that they've got to put it in. But I've noticed that the more I put the TFM in, the more productive I am. It's enormous, because it's giving me that time out to really evaluate and think. And I used to have a massive problem with sleeping, guaranteed, but 2 o'clock in the morning or maybe 3, I'd be up for a couple of hours, be writing stuff down, I'd be, constantly thinking about everything. But now I am sleeping through, unless the children wake me up, obviously.
Yeah.
But I am sleeping through now because I have got that time. I go to bed around 10 now, which is a real shocker for me. It was always midnight, always. Now it's 10 o'clock because I've got a colleague who says your body needs 10 till 2 resting on certain organs in your body. And then I sleep now until about 5:30, and then I'm up and then I'm training again. And I'm thinking, wow, I feel so much better. But I've a lot of lemon water, and I am looking after me now because it's massive, and I didn't realise how much I need it. And it's listening to you, Caroline. I mean, you know, our meetings that we've had are unbelievable. The stuff that you teach is absolutely outstanding. And I just think, gosh, you know, if I could just put you in every operation that I know right now to fix them all, to get through this really busy season, you know, in a sustainable way, because my worry is it's not going to be future-proofed if they don't get the help.
No.
That's a big thing, and asking for help and actually getting support. And it doesn't mean on, you know, alcohol, drug, or it can be, because that's on my FAQ Friday the other day. But I genuinely think to get help and support and guidance to take people out of the business to actually, you know, make a difference. You know, I know buyers, they are stuck for staff at the moment, but we are in touch all the time. I'm motivating, inspiring them, keeping them going. And they were on, you know, really struggling this last week. So because every person and every job and every business is exactly the same. So you will be a golden massive nugget to fix all these problems, and that's why I wanted you to bring on today. So if anybody's sat here now thinking, well, I don't know, you know, is this something that I could bring in for the team? Is this something that, you know, we could do over Zoom? You know, could I give them, how long's your sessions, by the way? I know it's difficult to ask because it's probably a piece of string.
So it kind of depends. If I'm speaking with somebody one-to-one, then it tends to be an hour and a half. The workshops are an hour and a half as well. So if it's a group work, generally an hour and a half usually. So if it's a group workshop, that's an hour and a half of mostly information, but also sharing techniques. And I always put a lovely hypnosis in there as well. I can't help myself. And the one-to-one sessions are much more in-depth, dealing with whatever it is that the person in front of me presents. I'm working through that with them, but yeah, generally an hour and a half.
So if a business said, Caroline, I want you to come and help my team right now to get through this, what workshops could you offer, or what could you do?
So I think at the moment you'd probably be looking at the anxiety workshop, which is called Self-Defense Against Anxiety, and that explains a lot of the science behind anxiety. I think that knowing a bit of the science about what's going on and why your body feels like it does and why you get the thoughts that you do really helps take the pressure off you. You kind of have an understanding about what's happening. It doesn't feel as scary. And then it also give loads of really great techniques as to how you can deal with that in all kinds of different situations. So whether it's planning in advance and doing things in advance, or things that you can do in the moment wherever you are that crop up. So yeah, that would probably be the one.
Okay, and you've got lots of workshops coming up, haven't you? What are the workshops that you've got coming up to help and support anybody who's thinking, I don't want to go through work, I want to do it myself with Caroline? What are the workshops that you've got coming up?
So at the moment, I've sort of taken the summer off for open workshops. So September and October are the next ones. They're on the website, so you can have a look on there and it'll tell you. And I've got early bird bookings for them at the moment. So tickets currently half price if you don't want to go through work. If you do want to go through, if you're a business owner and you do want to plan it for your team, just get in touch. And yeah, an hour and a half, and not a huge investment, and it will help you throughout the summer, I'm sure.
Oh, it would massively help. I mean, that's
Yeah.
amazing. And your past clients, what would they say to your future clients who were saying, oh, you know, it's very uncomfortable, I'm not used to this? Because in hospitality, we're that pressured, we're that focused on doing what we do, we actually forget about ourselves a lot because we're serving. Hospitality is about being hospitable. What we need to do is be hospitable to ourselves as well, and be kind to ourselves. And so if they were sat on the fence thinking about it because it's very uncomfortable, they're not used to it, what would your past clients or your current clients say? Go on. What would they say to anybody thinking?
They would probably say, I wish I had done it earlier. There's often a realization that what you go through these things until you can't bear it anymore, don't you?
Yeah.
And then you ask for help, and then you realize that actually the help was really straightforward and simple and worked really, really well. And you just go, oh, why did I wait? I should have done that months ago, and then I wouldn't have had all of this time dealing with something that was so easy for me to resolve. So I think that's what they would say. Just ask now.
Just go and get it done. Yeah. No, I agree. And there's something that I got told a bit ago because I was struggling to ask for help. And it made sense. And my mentor said to me, she said, I've got to say, Alison, how do you feel when people ask for help? I went, oh, I feel amazing because I can massively help and I can really transform and change and make a difference. And she said, how dare you take that feeling from anybody else? And I went, whoa, I didn't feel that was going to come, but it's true. How dare we? So if you're struggling in that sense, then certainly ask for help, because how dare you take that feeling away from somebody else?
Yeah, and it's very common for us. The other phrase that I really quite like is, you cannot fill from an empty cup.
Oh, yeah.
So you can't run on empty and expect to be filling everyone else up. You really have to focus on yourself first, fill yourself up, and then that can overflow and help everyone else. But if you crash and burn because you've not looked after yourself, where's everyone else going to be?
Yeah. No, I totally agree.
Getting help isn't selfish. Taking your time for yourself isn't selfish. It's necessary in order for you to carry on helping other people.
Yeah, it's like the oxygen mask analogy, isn't it? On a plane,
Exactly.
if you don't put it on yourself, everybody's going to watch you die slowly and not be able to help you. So you've got to put it on yourself first, and that's the interesting part.
Yeah.
Brilliant. So obviously, how do we get in touch with you? We're going to put all your details at the end, but what is the best way to get in touch with you, Caroline?
So you can either call me. That's not always the best way, because obviously I'm with other clients and doing other things. So email, text message, WhatsApp, get me on Facebook Messenger. Really, I'm very contactable.
Fantastic. That's amazing. That's brilliant. Thank you very much, Caroline. It's been really insightful, and it makes a massive difference. I've got to say, you know, what you do is unbelievably fabulous, because I think right now everybody should be coming to you, and I think everybody should be getting the workshops. But I also think, you know, if anybody's got some issues that they need, it's all highly confidential, so there's nothing shared to anybody else, and you deal direct with the person or the group. And you can do bespoke packages as well for businesses who are just wanting, especially the ones who have closed right now, you know, and are really fearing for the teams. They should really get you in so that they could get the tools and tips to be able to open sustainably, to financially, you know, be able to move forward. Thank you so much, Caroline. Happy Sunday, and I'm off for the Great North Swim now. I'm going to go and get changed and hopefully make some money for Cancer Research UK. and bag a mile under my belt.
Best of luck with it. I know you'll absolutely rock it, but good luck. And thank you for having me.
Thank you. That's really kind of you. Thank you very much. Take care. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.